Welcome to Derex ITB 6.0.
Check. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for coming here. Before presenting to you, I would like to have a very important disclaimer. I think it's been a while for me not to use an English speaking language in an open forum. I've been using primarily Bahasa Indonesia for the last 2 to 3 years. So deep apologize for lack of fluency that I might have. But thank you very much once again for attending here. My name is Rifan. I'm co-founder and managing director of Suara Gembira. Some of you might have heard about it, and thank you very much for being a loyal supporter of us. And today we'd like to present to you a concept of revolutions of Indonesian art and culture and how we transform it through the way of Suara Gembira. So before starting, I would like to show you the screenshot that I've taken several years ago, showing the top 50s of Spotify Indonesia, which is quite ironic because the majority of the top charts fillers are coming from other countries rather than musicians from our own country. Another slide here showing the tragedy of many artisanship in Indonesia, primarily batik maker, which every time you Google, it's very easy for you to see news talking about the scarcity and also the rarity, and some of many artisans batik are about to get extinct. Another slide is about tragedy, another slide is about tragedy, and all of them are majority dominant by the irony, where our own culture have a very little room and little space to stand in our own land. And unfortunately, this culture is getting a lot more irrelevant among us, among youths. The question is, why is that important? Why Indonesian art and culture is important? It is important not because just the exotism, because it is classic, it's traditional, but it is important because it is the only way for us to have competitive advantage in order for us to build a core identity that bring trickle-down impact on economy and social towards our own people. It is us who will get benefit if Orkes Keroncong is proliferated. It is us who get benefit if batik makers are proliferated. Because these industries are the industries that might be very hard to be replicated by other people from other countries. The questions would be, why other nations are able to make their own culture becomes popular? Because that's the reality. South Korea makes their own culture popular. Japan, through its anime and Harajuku, make their own culture popular. Let alone European countries and also United States. The answer is simple. I'll take you a study case of how other countries transform and evolutionize their own culture. These are the image of traditional attires, a traditional dress from Victorian era in European continent. The constellation is quite complex. You need to wear rotten, and it's very hard for you to wear it. However, what they're doing is to evolutionize it, to make it relevant to the people throughout era that might have different behavior. And this is what they do. A very genius person named Christian Dior evolutionized traditional attire and make it evolutionary. Make the color into black on black dress. They called it cocktail dress with their own new silhouettes. They make and embed new technology, including fastener and zipper that used to be very rare and very uncommon in traditional dress during Victorian era. And they make it relevant to the people, especially young people at that time. In 1960s, another genius named Yves Saint Laurent make another evolutionary movement. They don't want to make dress becomes traditional again. They make it another step of evolution by trying to embed popular art called Le Mondrian into dress, called Le Mondrian dress. And this is the first time when we see dress not as a black on black dress or monotonic dress, but rather something that's very chic, very popular, and very colorful. Okay? And now, dress in 2020s, if you find in online platform, for examples, are transformed into thousands of models, but derived from only one culture, which is traditional dress in Victorian era. What is the conclusion? Culture transforms. They stay to the roots, but they make it evolutionary, so they can make it relevant to the people that live among us nowadays. But is that a thing that happens in Indonesia? Unfortunately not. I think this, okay, good. These are the image of Parang Batik. I'm pretty sure this is something that has been created in 17th century, and up until now, this is the model that is very popular if you go to Tanah Abang and Tamrin City. Okay, this is the kebaya that worn by Raden Ajeng Kartini during 1920s. Almost 100 years after now, this is the kebaya that you are wearing. Okay, so what are the difference? Our cultures is frozen in time, irrelevant, and not going to be strongly close and not and far from the reality and very distancing among youths. And that's something that is wrong. How they marketize Indonesian art and culture? They have a very big events in JCC, for example. This is how they marketize batik and then Indonesian attire. This is how Louis Vuitton make it relevant to the youth. Okay? So how do you make it relevant? They sell batik for 35 millions. They will not buy it. What they buy is Louis Vuitton bags because they get values and they get a very important prestige when they buy Louis Vuitton. So we need to change it. We need to make it relevant by developing its root and making it close to the youth, and this is the way how we're doing it. Can we crack our culture? The answer is possible. Why? Because we have a bonus demography called Gen Z. Gen Z is very unique, not only as the largest population, but this group prioritize a very impulse shopping behavior from brand values and ethics. They care a lot about brand values and ethics, from environmental sustainability to the mental health. So the homework is, how do we make Indonesian art and culture into something and a value that is relevant among youth? And this is the homework because we have the momentum. Using from the hashtag count in TikTok platform, there is a growing number of enthusiasm from Indonesia, from locality, communal identity, and nation pride. And this is a very good momentum. This momentum has been ridden by many industries, both from private industries and also from governmental institutions. We do believe that this is a good momentum if we crack it better. And this is the way how Suara Gembira is evolutionizing it. So, Suara Gembira is the largest platform that is able to revolutionize Indonesian art and culture among youth. What we have done for the last 6 years are as follows. We have created 16 major shows colossally, both musical and also dance performances. We have been attended by more than 96,000 audiences that are predominantly Gen Z and millennials. We have been creating more than 100 musics and dancing performance, dances and also songs that are embedded in our artworks. We have created more than 100 revolutionary Indonesian attires that are rooted from their own culture but make it relevant to the international fashion standards. We have created more than 150 wastras varied from tenun, songket to batik that we evolutionize so we can make it relevant among the people that are living, especially youth that are consuming fashion standard, and they see wastra as a goods that can be utilized combined with their own goods. And what is more important is that more than just an artwork that is important for us, we try to inspire others. We try to inspire others so they can create their own artworks that can influence their followers and also their own public in their own way, but with the same commonality, which is defining and also developing Indonesian artwork. This is how Tara Basro attended their own international film festival wearing sarung from Bugis. This is how Andovi Da Lopez and Jovial Da Lopez created Pentas Suara Indonesia, which becomes a global major trend in YouTube at that time. And this is how Hindia, a musician that you might know, top 3 male musicians in Spotify Asia, wearing kain, doing crowd surfing in the largest stage of Garuda Wisnu Kencana, only to prove that wearing kain is versatile and is relevant to the youth culture. We do believe that creating the wave and cultural renaissance is important for us, and this is the way how we make it closer to the public, especially among youths. To make it further and to make it bigger, we penetrate digital landscape. We make sure that our own campaign is not just entertained among individuals and also small groups in offline scheme, but we make it in digital platform. We created one of a very important campaign called Berkain Bersama and Berkain Gembira, Whereas this campaign has been viewed by more than 300 million views in Indonesia for only 2021 and becomes one of the most viral and the most watched organic campaign in TikTok Indonesia platform in 2021. This campaign is also a good stepping stone to build a sustainable community. So Suara Gembira built a community named Remaja Nusantara with more than 37,000 audiences and 37,000 active members all across Indonesia. We do believe that this is just a small step before we create another progress of revolution. We do believe that all the attendees here, all the youth and all the passionate individuals who believe that Indonesian art and culture is an important tool to create an important competitive advantage for us before we transform industrial landscape. If you believe in it, this is the way how we create the revolution. We do think that the revolution is not over and is far from over, and it's the only way for us to work together to finish the revolution. Okay? Finally, I would like to close it by saying things in bahasa Indonesia. Akan ada masanya ketika seni budaya Indonesia bisa berdiri tegak di kakinya sendiri dan di kemudian hari menjadi mercusuar dunia. That's the end of my presentation. Tabe, have a good day.